Welcome to the Hitchhiker's Guide to Humanity. My name is Erica. I will be your host. I am a spiritual healer and guide. I haven't been back to Earth for 1,000 years, so that's fun. I decided to come back during this particular timeline, which let's just give a shout out to my higher self who thought this was a good idea. Thanks, Archangel Uriel. Okay, so you've come here because you have some type of interest in why we're here. What's the meaning of life? How does Earth School work? Well, I am also a channel for the universe. And for those who don't know what that means, it means that I get information from the universe directly. And before I say this, everyone has the ability to do this. This is not something that is just me alone. There are many people who get information from source directly, and you can be one too. Let's just call it what it is. It's really about your self-awareness and what you're vibrating at. Oh, that sounds dirty. I mean, what your vibration is. First, I'm going to tell you how this podcast in particular and what we'll be talking about and how it's structured. So what I will do is read a download that I've received, and then we can talk about it. And then if you have questions, I want you to ask me them. And then what I'll do is I'll read them here on the podcast, and I will channel the universe and answer them for you, kind of like your own universal AI. Because, and this is only my belief, again, I'm going to repeat what I say on social media. Always use your discernment. Why? Because it's super important that you trust your body and your soul over everything that you hear. That is the answer to everything. It's within you. Now, there are people like me and other spiritual practitioners that are telling you things. Take what resonates with you and leave the rest. That is very, very important. Because there are people who are going to tell you you have to do certain rituals, that you have to do certain things, you don't. You never have to do that. What you need is inside you. Now, my mission here in this timeline that I was sent here to do after my 1,000-year vacation, which I'm guessing was cut short to come here to help humanity ascend, is to expand perspective for the collective. Oh, that kind of expand perspective for the collective. Yeah, that has a ring to it. Maybe I should change the name of this podcast. No, it took me way too long to pick this out. And the cover art. Can we talk about how hard it is to... Anyways. Okay, so I'm going to read a little excerpt of the download I got. And then we'll go from there. Yeah, sounds good. Okay. My higher self is Uriel, the Archangel. And I am using that part of my soul right now. I came here into this incarnation, and I'm using that part of my soul because Archangel Uriel is super wise, right? But spirituality doesn't really, those realms don't have names because there are no rules. And so I'm using that part of the soul I have attributed to Archangel Uriel. That is the essence of the soul part that I'm using. Humans will try to define things in ways to individualize them, to compartmentalize them, so that they can have something to kind of hang on to, right? Okay, so let's discuss that. Let's discuss what that means. So basically, it's not saying that Archangel Uriel, Hecate, however you say it, these deities, all of these gods and goddesses and deities and angels and your spirit team don't have the essence of what they're saying that they have. It's saying that naming something and humanizing it is really an earth thing, because not on earth things are made of light and energy things. That was the wrong beings, and they're made of light. Angels don't have wings. they show up with wings because that is the personification that people know. So they project that personification onto that being, and it has wings. But that's not the actuality. We are also just light energy, which is why we feel it like in your body when something resonates. That's what intuition is. It's energy. Everything is energy. It's just it comes into a solid form here on Earth. So you don't know usually that you are playing a role in somebody's lesson, their karmic lesson, their soul contract, their fate, their destiny, or free will has sent them on a different path in order for things to progress to their highest self. And once you realize that that is actually happening, you're able to disconnect from the outcome of things. You're able to disconnect from the emotional impact and attachment sometimes. And because your ego is where the emotions lie. And this goes back to the download I got this morning, which was about love. Because I said, okay, so if emotions lie only in the ego, then how do you explain love? Because I've been told over and over and over again, all the realms have love. And they said, well, that's a way of life. Humans call it emotions. Humans call that an emotion, but it's not. It's literally like the default. It's the way of life. Yeah. Insert brain, mind, exploding emoji. And so when you think of it like that, then you get to see things from a different perspective. You get to see things in an objective way. And what that does, because we are infinite beings, it takes the fear out of pretty much everything. I'm not afraid to die. Why? This is a stage. And I will also, this brings up this whole idea of religion versus spirituality versus atheism. The thing is, spirituality is basically just science dressed up in a new outfit, because spirituality is based on the light energy. Light energy is in the quantum field. Light energy is in the Akashic field. These are the same thing. Humans will name it differently. That is what humans do. But on a high level, it is not different. It is all the same. And so that's really the message that I want people to understand, is this idea that when you keep going in circles and you go in a pattern, you're like, why does this always happen to me? And all of this stuff. It's because you're stuck in a loop. You're not seeing it from an objective point of view. You gotta zoom out, which, trust me, I know this is harder than it is to actually perform this action. I'll share a little tidbit about good old Erica here. She, me, I have had numerous issues trying to get to the point that I am now. Before my spiritual awakening, I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, ADHD, anxiety. I had the bingo card of mental illnesses, and I still take medication for that, and I will still do it, even though I've gotten to a vibration where I can actually heal some of my pain on my own with my energy. It's amazing. But that doesn't mean I'm going to stop, right? This is all just to say life is a journey. And so if you're always, I think I've said this in the past, your past doesn't exist, nor does your future. All you have is the present moment. That is it. Because you build your future, and the past literally is gone. It only exists in your memory, in your brain, your human brain. And once you transmute that energy You find a creative outlet for it. I believe it actually changes your past with the same people, and you switch timelines to where that is the reality of your past. Why do so many humans forget their past? I don't even remember my childhood, and I have blamed it on trauma, which it could very well be. But it also could be is that that doesn't exist anymore because I've transmuted that energy into creativity. That is why we're here, to create something new. Because if the realms above us already know everything, if love is the default, and they know absolutely everything, why the hell would we come here? Why would we do this to ourselves? And it's because creation, connection, those beautiful things about Earth, right? When someone writes a song, when someone paints a picture, when someone writes a book, a poem, anything, you're creating something new, something that has never existed in all the universes. And what that does is it feeds into this living and breathing entity called the universe. And it builds and builds and builds. And that is the beauty of Earth School. It is this creation part. So my advice to you in this, my first podcast episode, is to find your joy no matter what. Seek out and try all those things you've wanted to try. Live in the present moment. The journey is the journey. When you try to get out of the journey, you're losing out on your human experience. That is why we're here. Your spiritual self will move on. Your spiritual self is up there guiding you because they want you to learn these lessons so that should you have to come back to Earth School, you don't have to do this shit over again. Nobody wants to do this shit over again. Love yourself. Find what you need within. That is the answer to all of your problems. I truly, truly believe that. Again, use your discernment, as always. But I don't think you can ever go wrong when you trust yourself. When you find out what your soul's purpose is, when you find out why you're here. That is what matters in this world. So thank you for joining me, for being a part of this wonderful journey we're about to take together. I promise to be myself. I promise when I discover something I've said changes, because again, we all evolve. You can change your mind. Free will exists, and so sometimes things change. It is very common when I get something downloaded that is in the present moment that it can change based on free will of everyone involved. And so when you're getting readings from tarot readers or spiritual practitioners or psychics, just know that they're reading the energy in that moment as it sits in that moment, as the future would be if nothing changed. But things change based on free will. I will always be honest with you. If something changes, if I discover something else that basically negates something I've said in a past episode, I will say it. I have no problem saying, hey, this is what I thought it was at the time, but actually I have new information that it's now this. So I don't want you to hold anyone to what they're saying in that moment unless it resonates with you. So I want to say that as a disclaimer, because I know I'm talking about really high level stuff here. And yeah, so thank you for joining. I can't wait to do this again and hear what you think. Peace and love to you all.